Convicted Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley had 3 more requests denied ahead of next week's Miller hearing.
The lawyers for Ethan Crumbley had asked that the images of the victims' bodies not be shown in court. The lawyers also asked that the security footage from the day of the shooting and video of him torturing a bird also not be shown. Now, this comes after he'd previously asked to have his life without parole sentence dismissed and for the ability to wear street clothes during the hearing.
Joining us now to discuss all of this is defense attorney Lillian Diallo, as well as 36th District Court Judge Kenneth King. Thank you both for being here tonight. We appreciate it. Obviously, it's a difficult situation to discuss, but what do you believe the impact is of the judge denying all of these requests, all of these motions by Crumbley and his defense team ahead of this hearing?
Well, I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact because it's the judge himself that's going to be making the decision. Not like it's a jury or civilian that's going to be making those kinds of decisions. So the judge is supposed to be trained to not let certain things sway their opinion as to what they should do.
Yeah, and for you?
I agree. So this is a hearing as to the culpability, what the sentence should be. And it's going to be emotional. And, you know, I understand, but homicide is a messy, dirty business, right? You have to put everything in to figure out what's the right sentence for this particular young man in this offense. And you also have to balance his mental health. There are a lot of things, and he's so young in his youth. So that's why it's a Miller hearing before you say, hey, you have to have life without the possibility of parole. So it's different in that he's already pled guilty. What's the penalty? So this is the penalty phase.
Why would they want to show these pictures in the first place?
Well, as a former prosecuting attorney, I always like to have an upper hand. You know, I try to shy away from saying I want to prejudice the person that's going to make the decision, but I want the person to see things my way. I want them to have that impact. I want you to look into these victims' families' faces and tell them that this person is not warranted to be sentenced to life.
I think the thing is here, do we need to see these images? I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's in favor of Crumbley or not, do we need to sit here and relive all of this horror? So
there's a family, right? And the prosecutor's trying to mesh everything together. So I don't know if these photos are going to be shown so everybody can see them. It should come with some kind of warning. This is not going to be an easy see, right? And I guess I don't understand about the bird thing, right? Other than
well, just assure that he has no compassion, perhaps.
Or that he has some mental deficiencies,
well,
right?
there's a number of factors that have to be considered in the Miller hearing.
Right.
And as a judge, I want to have everything that I need to make an informed decision before I sentence someone to life without the possibility of parole. So I want to get a full picture of this young man. I want to know his background. I want to know how his family life was growing up, that type of thing. I want to know his role in the homicide. So his role would be a lot different than someone who's charged with felony murder and they were just a lookout. So we may take a second look at that person and not want to sentence that person to life without the possibility of parole for making a stupid decision or a stupid mistake. Mr. Crumbley's position may be a little bit different in that he took a very active role, in fact, was the sole actor in some regards in what brought about the destruction of all these innocent people.
Well, and we know the parents have their hearing coming up, the involuntary manslaughter charges. Now, could this have any impact on their court proceedings?
It could.
I think it could, because the general public is looking at this, and those images are going to be very hard to erase from your memory. And knowing that they played some role in this and providing him with the murder weapon, then absolutely.
As a judge, I want to put you on the spot here. This is obviously a very intense situation, obviously, with all the families, all of the victims involved, what happened on this day. Taking into account that he was 15 at the time, would you, if you were the judge presiding over this case, give him, does he deserve to get life without parole here at this Miller hearing?
Well, I'm operating from a standpoint, I don't have all the information that Judge Rowe has. I only hear what you guys tell us in the media. But based on what I know, I think his situation is far different from like someone I said is an accomplice or because of the aiding and abetting situation. Now they're convicted of first-degree murder and looking at life without the possibility of parole. He was an active shooter, allegedly. Well, not even allegedly, because he's pled guilty to it.
Correct.
He was the sole shooter, and he shot 11 people, killing 4 of them. So is he salvageable is the question. And those are questions I can't really answer because I don't have the information that Judge Rowe will use in making that decision.
Yeah, and can you see a situation where he's going to get life without parole, or do you? I mean, you factor in the age if you're defending him.
So I come to it from a defense standpoint, from a former teacher, from mother, all of that, right? It's difficult. That person went through an awful lot in his life, but then look at this. You took 4 innocents and wounded however many others. So I don't know everything that goes into what makes Ethan Crumbley. That's up to the judge to do, right? But we know the maturity at that stage is not the same for an adult, right? It's reckless, it's horrible, it's horrendous conduct. But are there any mitigating factors?
And I think that's one of the reasons that the prosecution wants to show him torturing this bird, to show that this is a person who has some really significant issues and not the kind of person that we think can be rehabilitated and let back out without harming someone else.
Well, Judge Kenneth King, as well as Lillian Diallo, attorney, we appreciate your time tonight on a very, very difficult matter. Ahmed.